Hi guys and girls, Emma again. Welcome back to the spare room. This is part 6 of this metal spinning attachment build. We've got a drawing. There's a few bits. So far we've got this, which is all polished and smooth and pretty sweet. It's been in the tumbler overnight and this bit's pretty much finished, I think. It's really nice. I wish I could get all the bits I make that smooth and nice, and I will get some of them done like that now. We've got this lever, which is the top piece, or the middle piece anyway, sits in there. And we've got another lever, which is going to have some holes in it. 3 holes like this drawing. If we have a look, there's 3 holes in there to sit on that pin, and another hole in the end to take a pin for a ball, and a hole in the other end, have a look, to take the handle, which is the same as this one that we've got here. The same handle as this. So that's where we're at with this. This still needs a bit of a clean up, and probably it'll get it as we go, but by the time we finish we should have that nice. First bit really is to mark this out, and just the same as we marked the other piece out, I'm going to put 3 holes in here, and I'm going to mark the centres. I'm going to set these up and bore them. One side to take this piece of steel, which is the handle, and the other side to take a piece of 1/2 inch. One job I've already done. If we have a look, I've got a 25mm steel ball, I think it's stainless, and I've drilled and tapped at M8, so that's a good start. I just put that in the 3 jaw and drilled it and tapped it. It's a pretty straightforward little job. I've got a bit of 1/2 inch stuff, so we'll make a piece to go between there and there. But most of this part will be just what we've already done, setting this up in the 4 jaw and drilling it. So I might do that now. So there we go. I've marked that just the same pretty much as the other piece we made. It's got a mark on the centre on both ends, and it's got 3 marks there. So what I'm going to do is drill these 1/2 inch, just the same as the other piece, and put a countersink on them. Just set these up. I might do these tonight, and I'll probably do them off camera because you've already seen most of that. And I'm going to bore this one, and we'll give this handle piece a bit of a clean up. It's a bit rusty, but it'll come up the same as the other one. And you're going to drill the other end, make sure we get the right end, and the short end, and we're going to drill him and tap him and make a piece of bar in there to mount the ball on. So that's pretty straightforward. A lot of it's probably going to go off camera because, to be honest, you've already seen it, and I'm between tripods, as some of you probably know. This is actually a camera mounted on the new rail, which is kind of good. There's not much movement in it. It's rattling there a bit if you really try, but that's sort of swinging on it. So I'm pretty pleased about that. Our camera will be a little bit lower than this. I'm zoomed in, and I've also got it mounted upside down, so I'm going to turn everything over in editing software, and we'll see how that goes. Hopefully my computer's got enough power to run that. Anyway, let's get in and mark these, and let's get in and make these. So there we go. That's the first 3 holes drilled. They're the holes that sit on the pin. There's still one in this end and one in this end. So we'll set him up again, and just in the forge or around endways with the centre again and the DTI, just get him right. And going to drill one end, just check which end's which. Drill one end 6.8 and tap him 8mm. And the other one we're going to drill and bore for the handle, which I've cleaned up. And it looks like this. That's 16mm, I think. So we're still getting used to this camera angle, and I quite like this. It's well lit and it's pretty good angle, you can see everything. It's still a fraction high. I'd like to drop it down maybe 6 inches, but we'll get there. So anyway, let's change this over and drill and tap the hole. So that's tapped. I just drilled that in as far as I dared with a 6.8mm drill and run a tap into him until it stopped. That all looks pretty good. The other end's to be bored, so I'm going to turn him around, and you don't want to see all this hours of setup work. I'm pretty good at this actually, but I'm going to turn him around and we're going to drill and bore the other end and fit the handle in him nice, I hope, and we'll see how it looks. So that's within a couple of hours, which is plenty good enough, I reckon, for this. Put this back over here. Got a bit of a problem with belt run out on this machine at the moment. It was, I thought, running off this first pulley. Gosh, it'd be nice to have a trolley just to push this along here and show you. But it was running off this first pulley back this way, and I honestly thought it was low on this end. But what I've done is lifted it up on this end a fraction, and if anything it's a bit higher because it's running up against the, have a look here on the belt drive. If we have a look, it's running up against this side rather than this side of the changer, so it's trying to run back this way, which means that the other belt theoretically should be running back that way too, but it's running back this way, so I'm not sure what's caused that. Have a bit of a look at that. I think probably it's just this old belt's about had it and it's time for a new one. What I'm probably going to do is put a new belt on this. If we have a look, I'm going to put a new belt on this end here, and probably the old belt I'm going to stick straight across onto this one, so that's probably an option, I'm not sure. If I shorten this long belt up, then I'd have enough for 2 for next time as well. That's a good idea, but we'll have to think about that. I guess a lot of you have seen this belt changer. It's got a fast and loose pulley system. I don't know if I've ever showed you this, but if we have a look, that's engaged. This one's tight on the shaft. The other two are loose. We can stop that one. If we want to, we can stop this one. The idea of that, and the reason there's 3 of them, is that eventually when I've got decent set of collets or decent locks on all my chucks, I'd like to put a cross belt on the other one, and there's enough room so that this will move this one into the middle or this one into the middle. So we're either going forward or reverse, and then I'd like to put a clutch probably in this pulley, or some sort of a clutch arrangement anyway. Maybe even a foot clutch down in the bottom pulley, so that we can stop and start and forward and reverse, and that's probably a fairly smart way. That was that was probably the original idea for this machine, and it's the way this line shaft has been set up in the past, but I don't know when it's going to happen. Don't hold your breath on that one. Anyway, back to the job in hand. It's all set up pretty nice. I think very shortly we're going to be making centres on this machine. A dead centre at least, and probably finish our live centre, but we'll see how we go. I'd like a new Jeppy Swiss live centre for it. They do make one, I believe, for this machine, but they're expensive and they're special order, so at this point I'm not real convinced it's going to happen. So next job is to drill this out. I'll drill him out to nearly size. I'll measure the shaft first to make sure it is 16mm, and then might just bore him until he's to the right size. So what I did was just lifted the tailstock off so I could get this bar in here and find out where it fits, and that's pretty sweet. Probably we can raise that in there nice and straight. That's that job done. And clean this end up nice with a bit of emery tape. We're going to take him out and I'll break all the corners, and we might just counterbore all these to match the other one. So that's what I've got. Holes are in there. Giving this a good clean up. We've got a tapped hole in that end. And we've got a bored hole in that end. It's a nice fit. I'm going to braze that in there like that. First job though probably is just to countersink these. And about the same amount as this, I reckon, so that it's a similar piece. This is all nice and smooth and shiny and beautiful because it's been in the tumbler overnight. Might do the same to this as well, I think. Pity the tumbler's not long enough to do the whole lot, but let's find the countersink tool and get in and fix this. So at the moment my drill press is over on the other bench in the dark, and it is kind of late, but that's a work in progress. Anyway, I've just set the depth stop and countersunk them in the, or counterbored them. Yeah, countersunk is the word, and countersunk them to the same depth, top and bottom. And that part's pretty much ready to go. So the next job is to make a piece to go between this hole and this hole to support that ball on the end. I don't even know if this is going to work, and it has got quite a radius on it, so it's not going to be the best thing for spinning a lot of things. It's going to be good for a couple of projects that I have in mind, but for making some things I think it needs a roller on it, and probably I'll make another one of these and cut the side out of it for a clevis and put a skateboard roller bearing and a hardened roller on it, so that might be an option. But this is the ball I've drilled and tapped, and I just held him in the 3-jaw. It was pretty straightforward actually. I did it off camera just to see if it'd work, and probably I could drill and tap another one to show you, but to be honest that was pretty straightforward. So there we go. That's all nicely, well, fairly nicely finished. There's been a couple of dings in this piece of steel I didn't notice before I started. Hopefully they clean up and you probably won't notice them. We might live with that. As your handle fits in there like that, I'm just going to put that there, and I'm going to weld round here pretty quickly and give it a bit of a clean up. Nice new stick of solder. Someone asked which brazing rod I was using. And if we have a look, it's a SIG Weld one, or BOC gases. It's Comcoat pink. There's a white one and a blue one. They're a bit different. Probably easiest just to read what's on the packet here. The blue one's for difficult metals, the galvanised pipe and cast iron and stuff. And the white one's for brass and so forth. And the pink one is the structural one for steel, so that's what I'm using. And I just bought 3 sticks of this in a pack, but there's probably cheaper and better ways to buy that. Anyway, some klutz left the oxygen on in the gas bottle. It was a fairly new bottle, so that annoys me a little bit. Anyway, I'll have to get another one. I'm going to leave this welding job for a little while. We might make the piece for this and call it a day with this video. So that's it together, and it's what I've got. That's nice and solid, whether it'll do the job or not. But this has got it looks a bit ugly just like that. So I want to put a bit of shape in there. And because I haven't welded the handle in yet, which may have been a mistake if I had done it, I'm just going to put a bit of shape in this. So maybe a taper or a bit of a clean up with the files, just to blend it in a bit and polish that ball and see how we go. So I'm going to set this back up again in the 4-jaw, I think. Anyway, that's looking pretty good. I think that's probably solid enough, and the ball hasn't quite screwed right down there, but at this point it's going to do the job. It's all nice and tight. We'll strip this out of here. There's so many little tool making jobs that need to be done in this workshop, and feels like I could be full time for about 6 months doing it, but at this point it isn't going to happen. Anyway, let's have a look at this over on the bench. Anyway, that's what we got so far. I haven't welded this handle in yet. It's still just loose. That's that piece, sits on there like such, and this piece sits on here like such, and this will go in the rest. So really the only thing to do to have this some sort of operation, and I would like to make another piece of this with a roller on it, but probably if I don't do that while I'm at it, it's not going to happen. I've got the steel for it. But the only real thing to do is to get the rest cast, or the pattern cast, machine it and bore it and bolt it up. The other thing I have done, my friend Gert in Sydney sent me some little 3D printed letters to go in here, and I've just drilled a 13mm hole in the back there, and it's a nice neat push fit in there. So hopefully that'll cast up nice with as a three-dimensional letter. Anyway, this is next week's job, I think, to get this cast. The rest coming along really nicely. Just want to say thanks for watching, and click the like button and subscribe and leave a comment. Tell me I'm a fool. And be kind to each other. More soon, guys and girls.